So in this video, I'm going to share my IELTS exam experience with you guys. One thing to be noted is I took my exam in Sylhet, Bangladesh. It might be different if you take it anywhere else. For example, if you take it in another part of the country, it will be different. And if you take it outside, in any other country, it might be different. So let's get started. So some people will have the speaking exam first. Others will have listening, reading, writing first. In my case, and it is quite common that you will also get your speaking exam first. You get registered on your first day. You get your photograph taken and they register you with your national identification or the passport you use, the identification document you use for registration. It is actually most people use their passport. I use my NID. And a few things to note here is only the examinee can enter the premises. Guardians or any friends you take with stay outside. You enter and you wait in the waiting room and they give you 15 to 20 minutes heads up before the exam starts. In the exam hall, you are not allowed to take anything else other than your passport or NID and another copy of your identification document. Your belongings such as wallet, bag, keys, mobile, everything you just submit in the reception desk or the locker. At first, they will check you for any electronic devices and then ask you if you have anything in your pockets. If you do have anything, even if it's a tissue paper, you have to empty it out. Then they take your fingerprint and photograph. A point to remember when you register for IELTS, your name should exactly match the identification document you are using, passport or an ID. After registration is complete, they will ask you to sit for a while. There are small private rooms for each individual examiners, so you get privacy. After setting up the exam with a foreign examiner, a person of the British Council office will call you in. You enter the room and sit. The office person who is helping you will tell your name, examinee ID to the examiner and will also give you some instructions, such as keep your hands always on the table, do not touch the computer, the keyboard, the mouse, or the display. Do not touch anything. Just keep your hands on the table. They set up the camera in such a way that your hands can be seen. The exam is simply taken in Zoom video call. In the speaking exam, basically you will have a Zoom video call with a foreigner. In my case, she was non-native, not British. Usually they are British. In my case, she was Spanish. At first, she gave me some introductions and informed me that the video is being recorded. Then she mentioned my information and hers for the recording and began part 1. The part 1 and part 3 seemed longer than what I had expected. In part 1, we talked about 2 or 3 topics. Part 2 cue card topic was a daily routine I follow. In part 3, some questions was asked relevant to the top cue card and my answer. And afterwards, she also asked about another different topic. Let's talk about the next parts, the writing parts. I appeared on the spot half an hour before the reporting time. They asked me to submit all my belongings, but as there was some time, I did not do it. One thing to remember is you cannot take anything other than your identification document. Usually they ask you to bring a photocopy of your identification document And I did, but they informed me that I won't be needing that. So all I had to take was my NID, pen, pencils, eraser, and sharpness. Yes, you can take pen. I did not. I practice with pencil, and I think a lot of people prefer pencils. But you can take pen, but you can only use it for writing. The writing part only, and even in the writing part, for to fill up your forms, like your name, candidate number, you have to use pencil. There are no breaks given to you during the test. If you go to the washroom during the test, you do so wasting your precious exam time. 10 minutes before each of the module ends, the invigilator will inform you that the bathroom option is now closed. And first, they do a routine check with you for any electronic devices. You show your ID in the reception and just give a signature. Note that your signature must match your identification document. And after signing, you get some time. And during this time, some people are photographed. These are the people who have speaking exam later. If your speaking exam was prior to your written exam, then you don't have to do any registration process again. Afterwards, you are taken to exam hall. Before entering the exam hall, you have to give your fingerprint. As I did not go to washroom, so I'm not so sure, but I think even if you have to go to the washroom, you have to give your fingerprint before you go out, and when you come back in, you have to give your fingerprint again. This is a very cumbersome process, so I highly recommend you take measures so that you don't have to go to the bathroom for whole 3 hours. You sit down on your seat, the invigilator explains everything. It's quite straightforward. I had an uneventful listening exam. During the reading exam, I finished it within 3-4 minutes in hand, and I started to revise. And the mistake that I wanted to avoid so much had occurred. I wrote true false where I should have written yes and no. I hurriedly corrected it. I don't know. My exam was quite shaky. In the writing exam, there's a part where you write sheet dash of dash. So if you take extra papers, you have to write two. So the invigilators will explain to you that you should leave it empty. So this was my experience. You can comment down below if you had any different experience. And this should be helpful who are taking the exam for the first time. Thank you.